Hello guys and welcome. This is Dino from Dimar Arcade, your one-stop shop for quick fighting game fix and other games. So before we start, please do follow my YouTube channel. Put the subscribe button. This helps my channel to grow. And also please do follow me on twitch.tv/DinoMara for more fighting games and other stuff. So now with this, let's begin. Before we start with the Guilty Gear tier list, before we deep dive down on the characters, let's start with the general changes. Number one, increased damage scaling to all characters. So at some point, characters' damage is toned down because of this change. So depending on the move they use, most of the characters have increased damage scaling, so damage output will be lesser as compared to the last patch. Second is fixing the dust attack. So for some characters like Giovanna and Kai, they have quick charge dust attack, which part of their mix up from the rest of the cast. So now they try to balance it out. So due to this, the dust charge time is now balanced for characters. So you'll not be confused whether that attack is a charge dust attack or not. And finally, faultless defense. They have changed the properties since in some situations, normal blocking is used. Why? Because it has faster recovery while instead of using FD. So due to this, since FB spends tension and spends a portion of your meter, they've increased the rewards of using faultless defense. So I think most people be using this one right now after the balance patch. There's still some other changes that were done for the most of the gameplay for the game mechanics, but it's quite a long list, but we're not discussing that one. I've just discussed only this key takeaways for the general mechanics. So right now we'll move to the characters. Start with Sol. Technically nothing has changed to him. There are some moves that were toned down in terms of damage output. 6P cannot be wall bounce anymore, and they have added the property. They changed the property of Bandit Revolver, so now it has a follow up for the second attack. So Bandit Revolver has 2 hits, so you need to do 236 KK for the second hit. Now what's interesting in this move, since you delay the second attack, there are some situations where you can juggle the opponent, relaunch the opponent depending on Sol's combo. So most likely it be used in the corner, so you delay the second hit of Bandit Revolver, and you can access to some meaty combos for this one. For Faust, it was quite tool based. So there are some changes to his overall gameplay, like fixing stuff and adjusting the hitbox, hurtbox. But one thing that Faust has right now is this new move for the love or the paper bomb, the air paper bomb. The properties change when you are on Afro state. So what does this do is when Faust is throwing this paper bomb or this air paper bomb during Afro state, so the paper bomb will now bounce on the ground. So normally if you do the normal paper bomb, he'll just throw it on the air and then explode. But for this one, during Afro state only. During Afro state, he will throw the Afro and he try to mix it with the paper bomb. So once he throws it, the paper bomb will bounce and will try to reach until it reaches to the opponent. So this is quite an interesting mechanic for Faust. So right now, I think because Faust players are too scared away getting the Afro. Now they will have opportunity to use the Afro for themselves rather than be part of attack. I think you can weigh the benefit there. Do you want a more okay style of set play for Faust and use this Afro, or do you want just to do the normal damaging stuff like just inflict jump dust or make the Afro burn so it will explode right away? So up to choice. Now next is Kai. Kai is has a projectile game. So right before, it was not really rewarding because the recovery too huge for his move. So normally before he finishes his animation for his charge projectiles, like for this stun edge, he has already hit by if you have faster characters like Millia and stuff. So before he finishes his animation, he gets punished right away. So right now for his projectile game, they made it more faster. The recovery is now less. So what will happen is we'll be experiencing some Kai zoning for the charge stun edge, air stun edge, and maybe the charge stun edge. All properties pertaining to his projectiles are now faster. So this will add some variety or depth to Kai's gameplay, not relying to his normals or full the arc and this the stun dipper, or these things will give Kai more edge. Or maybe if it is really fast, that super fast like Street Fighter fast, yeah, we'll be spamming some projectiles, we'll be spamming stun edge, we'll be spamming all of this. And the chip, remember the chip for this stun edge now is quite large. Okay, the chip damage is now large. It's not so Kai can just really stay in the corner and just doing stun edge all day. So that now Kai is dangerous. So I think other than that, there's some minor changes to Kai, but the projectile game of Kai is now really changed. They gave it a boost for his what you call this gameplay. So next one is Millia. Now Millia, I'm quite happy with the change for Millia because in the last patch she really didn't get, or she didn't really got any buff or benefit for the changes except for 6p for faster and tandem top. That's it. So right now, two major changes for Millia. First is all of her air normals can now be backdash cancelable. Yes, backdash cancelable. Technically, I don't really see the I mean, I don't really in theory wise, I don't really see the benefit for it because I'm not sure if there will be some combo opportunities once you do an air backdash. Usually it's the other way around. You use air dash forward, air dash to do her BNB combos. But this one it's quite different. So I don't see the benefit of it except for evading or dodging some attacks. But anyway, let's see. But it's an okay change because there's some normals or maybe during whiff if Millia has, especially for the jump dust. So jump dust attack when whiff, it takes a lot of recovery before. I mean, it takes a lot of recovery. So maybe if it whips, then you can do backdash. At least she has other options. So because Millia, aside from the up and down mix up movement, she has also left and right. So maybe they just tried to, if she can just air dash, cancel the air dash forward, why just give it an air dash backward? So maybe that's the point I'm seeing. And number 2, turbo drop and Mirza can now be special cancelled. Okay. And these two moves are normally not used, especially turbo drop. And there are some situations where turbo drop is used, but it's so only rare because Millia is always caught when she's on turbo drop mode, and this is counter hit right away. So it's like don't use it. Just stay put. Just wait for her to land normally or land normally. And for the Mirza, yes, I do see the benefit of using Mirza, especially on some certain combos on the ground. So I cannot vouch for Mirza, but for the turbo drop, really, yes, it's you don't use turbo drop at all. So now they have added some special cancelable moves during turbo drop. So I'm not sure how this will play out in the actual game. So we'll wait. And I forgot one thing: 6K is now special cancelable. So Millia's ground options or ground overhead options doesn't really have this except for you need to IAD right away. But now, since Millia has this one, so you can see a lot of okay gameplay because 6K is one of her staple tools in the previous the OG Guilty Gear, especially in Accent Core and other Guilty Gears. So 6K is your use tool for you to knock your opponent. So you do some mix up, you don't know what Millia will do. You can now 6K then your hair car, then set play tandem top. So that's why Millia is giving her the buff. This buff will really add a depth to her gameplay, especially in her OK mix-ups right now. Since it, like you're instead of jumping, why don't do it on the ground, right? So yeah, it will give you some options right now, which is cool right now, and I'm happy, very looking forward to it. Next is Zato. Now Zato, what they gave to him was just another general bug, which was also existing in the previous, what you call this, in the previous patch, which is the eddy meter. The eddy meter now is more faster recovery. So I don't know, especially when you summon Eddie during his moveset. So I think they mentioned that all of the 236 or down forward motions when summoning Eddie, the recover, I mean the gauge recovery is increased. So I don't know how many times you can use Eddie, or you will just wait for maybe 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, or maybe 3, just for Eddie to recover again, which is very brutal for Zato's mix-up. So since now, I think they added something for the 6K. It has something to do with its properties, like it used in overhead, because instead of using 6K, normally in previous Guilty Gears, you always use 6K, Zato 6K for the setup, especially when when you do combo with Eddie. But now they have added 6K because normally people use what? Dust as their part of overhead gameplay during the Eddie Zato mix-up. Now they're allowing you to use the option to use 6K instead of the something like that. So that will be another plus for Eddie. So again, this is your buff in my opinion, these are your buff characters for this patch. Moving on, we now go to the nerf. Okay, first one, May. Simple. Well, they have changed, still retained some, or maybe they have added some mid-screen combos to May. They have retained it, and they have allowed you to use 6HS. They added some properties to it, so you, because no one used 6HS. I mean, only in some situations, but as part of a staple gameplay, May's a basic gameplay routine. 6K is not really used, so that's why they added it. They changed the properties, so you use 6K. But the reason I'm saying why she is nerfed is because of the dolphin. Yes, Totsugeki horizontal. Okay, Totsugeki horizontal is now capable. I mean, it most likely be caught by any character's 6P moves. So this is one major change that they have really changed. So that's why people cannot spam dolphins anymore. So I just wait for 6K. I mean, we'll just wait. I mean, they can still do it, but most likely it be now it will be powerless against 6K. So for those characters who has 6K move or 6P, sorry, 6P moves, especially Nagoriyuki, they can catch you right away and do some meaty damage. So that's why it's like they tried to remove the fangs of May. So having this option will really loses the edge of May players right now, since they cannot spam the dolphin anymore. Combo wise, still okay, but spamming, nah, not a chance. So can be caught by 6P anymore, and it's universal, all of the characters. So it is more prone to lose. I mean, it will like more likely to lose against 6P. So that's a general warning to those who spam Totsugeki. So next is Ram. For Ram, okay, I think they tried to tone her. They increased the recovery from some moves, especially jump H's and some other stuff. One thing that they have, aside from the increased damage scaling, is the swords. Yes, the swords are now it cannot explode anymore on the corner, or it cannot explode anymore if Ram gets hit. Okay, before the patch, or the swords can still explode even if Ram gets hit. That's why you have this kind of mix up with Ram in the corner. So Ram can just, normally do her stuff, and she can care less about being hit, because even though she gets hit, the sword will explode. Now they try to change it. So yes, they try to remove the explosion if Ram gets hit first. And second is her Reka. So her Reka is now cannot be dash cancelled on whiff. So you see these players like we do Reka Reka, then they'll just now it needs to be a confirmed hit. So on second hit, I think, or I mean, okay. So in second hit, now it can be dash cancelled up on hit, not on whiff. So I mean, still it can be part of your gameplay, but because it some players do use the recast for the keep away tool, so they will just try to spam it since it can be cancelled by dashing. So I mean, they could care less of being getting hit because it's part of Ram's pressure. So the Ram will just reka then dash cancel, then do the pressure, then reka. Now it needs to be confirmed hit before to do that. So I think that's quite new for Ram players. They need to adjust on that one. It's like they didn't really remove all the dash cancel, but still having Ram do this is quite different. And of course, I mean, despite of this changes, which is a nerf to her, they tried to give her a new combo, like a new route for the swords, which is I think I saw that on the Twitter. So you can check to Guilty Gear Strive official Twitter page for the video of Ram's changes. So they have added a new combo route. I mean, they gave her a mid-screen combo route for the sword explosion. So that's quite unique for her. It's starting from the Reka, then is it 2HS, then sword, something like that. So they gave her mid-screen sword explosion combo. So it's like before you need to stick the characters, or maybe not on the center, but maybe three half, not three maybe close to the corner, yes, because somehow you need to distance it near the corner. But this combo, it's like mid-screen guaranteed, so you can use this new combo route for second is okay. Moving on is for Chipp. What happened to Chipp? Well, basically they give him still an edge, like the Alpha Blade diagonal and horizontal can now be easily comboed. I guess this is due to Chipp's timing of the Alpha Blade, depending on the weight of the character or maybe the hitbox of the character. So now they made it easier for Alpha Blade diagonal, especially diagonal, to be comboed during combo situations. However, the one thing that they removed this is the mix up. So there's some the usual Chipp route is 5k mix up route, okay? 5k, then Alpha Blade diagonal, then move, then do the mix up whether you want to do 2k. 2k is already nerfed, but still usable. I mean, it's not totally nerfed. It can still be usable, but it can be easily caught by any other moves. But they tried to decrease the mix up for Chipp. So they made diagonal Alpha Blade. They made the diagonal Alpha Blade recovery, or I mean slower. So they tried to remove the mix up properties of the Alpha Blade. So I'm not sure how this will play out, but Chipp also exists for the mix up aside from his normals. So having this heard that the diagonal Alpha Blade is taking the startup time is increased, and the option for Chipp to do mix-ups is now like halted, or what's the better term for it? Now warranted to be punished, or not rewarding anymore. So I'm not sure how this will play out, because Alpha Blade diagonal can be comboed, but to use it on the mix-up, I'm not sure how those two will play out. But again, mix-up options for Chipp are vital to his gameplay. That's why a lot of people are using Chipp, because Chipp can do a lots of stuff when doing his mix play with Alpha Blade diagonal, like 5k Alpha Blade diagonal, then do mix up. So I'm not sure how this will play out, but hearing this, that is they trying to pull out the effectivity of Chipp's mix up potential now. So this is really a nerf for him. Then Axel, to be honest, in general, Axel's, aside from one nerf that I'll teach, Axel's normals properties are changed. I mean, they made a adjustment to him that he'll be safe or he'll be recover on situations. But there's this one nerf that, in my opinion, okay, my opinion, that might be not good for him, and this is during sickle flash or to his Renzengeki. Why? So the Renzengeki, normally he doesn't hit. Okay, the change was as to be still on counter hit even after, I mean, until the animation ends. So in the full animation, whether maybe this is true for the follow-ups, or I don't, because Renzengeki is fast, right? So Renzengeki for during, people just spam, right? Use a keep away. They use sickle flash as a keep away tool to zone out opponents. So now they cannot spam anymore, especially on those characters which are fast or maybe has a lot of horizontal jump, or horizontal jump advantage. Those who can jump like Anji can really jump far, and maybe Millia and Chipp, because during they extend the counter hit timing for Axel during Renzengeki or Sickle Flash. So Sickle Flash is one of the most used tools for Axel's keep away tool, and that's why I'm saying Axel has been nerfed. So he'll be now susceptible for counter hit during Sickle Flash. So he can still do some other keep away moves like 5P, 6K, and the other 2HS and the other stuff. But I mean, this keep away tools doesn't really add depth to his playing. You need to use Rasenganki because after Rasenganki, there's a lot of options, right? So right now, maybe during after the animation, I'm not sure what really is the timing. So maybe after the follow up, he's not counter hittable anymore, not susceptible counter, but increasing the counter hit window for Axel during what you call this to during Razengeki or Sickle Flash is quite a nerf for him, because yeah, so people will just not spam Razengeki anymore, not unless the character is really kind of slow like Goldlewis. But this is needs to be tested out. But right now, hearing this at in paper, so that's why I'm saying that this is a nerf for him. This is a super nerf for him. That's why I don't want to. I'm saying that this change for Axel is quite not good for him. Okay, next one. This is tweaks. Tweaks are somewhat a mix of positive or a negative change for a character, because really I don't really see the buff or nerf in this, because they try to balance it. Like I will remove something one vital to them, then I'll add something. So I'll start with Potemkin. So Potemkin, what happened to him? So Garuda Impact is not that good anymore in terms of a pressure game. Why? Because upon Faultless defense, the pushback, Potemkin pushes himself further away from the opponent when he does the Garuda Impact. So this is not a good thing anymore. But when they removed that, they added him some other benefits like 5 normal dust. Okay, dust attack is now special cancelable. So sometimes part of your normal string, or part of the zoning or poking tool of Potemkin is using the dust itself. So this dust now is now special cancelable, turn to Mega Fist or what. Then FBB is now increased the window for the reflecting projectiles. That's good for him. And also 6P, they returned it. So 6P, then hit knuckle. So before 6P is not, it's not special cancelable or cannot be combo. Now they give it, they try to combo that one. So that will be an advantage for Potemkin. So, and also they gave him a weird stuff like upon jump dust, the butt drop, upon landing on the butt drop, it's special cancelable. So I don't know. Maybe that will be for Potbuster right away. So maybe right now I do see the benefit of, maybe upon testing it out, maybe you'll see the benefit of Potemkin, what you call this, canceling his butt drop landing animation to a special. So that might be, sounds weird on paper, but might be good on actual gameplay. Next, Anji. Okay, Anji, they give him a lot of stuff. Anji is one of the characters that has a lot of changes every patch. So right now, he has been. I mean, there's a lot of changes for him. I cannot say really if it is a good change or bad change because some of the changes were already okay, but they tried to change it. Okay, I'll just mention one. His fan spin co 236S. So 236S is already okay to be honest. I mean, my opinion. It has a good recovery. I mean, it's good. Not borderline good, but above average good move for him. But now they try to add some guard crush on the second hit. I'm not sure how this will play out because he already the second hit he will be already in the air. So I'm not really sure if this will help him or not because I didn't I cannot really visualize it, but most of the guard crush are on the ground, right? So there is no really some guard crush in the air. Or maybe that what they are saying is if in case that the second hits a grounded opponent, then the guard crush will happen. But in the air, no, that's why you use this move because you want to check jumping opponents. So I'm not sure how this will really play out. So that's why I'm quite clueless on that one. Maybe if there's a guard crush in the area, okay, fine. This one is okay, but I mean it's already good as it is, but that's why I'm not really like I don't want to. It's like if I'm only be the one to ask, okay, just let go, stay at it as it is. Then what's good for him is they made Fujin faster. Okay, it's only Fujin, not the follow ups. Follow ups will be just the way as they were before. It's only Fujin. So far standing all the far standing S and maybe some HS I guess now these moves can be connected 100% with Fujin. So this adds a poke range gameplay for Anji. Might be good, yes, because you can access Fujin now. Not because you just need to really get near to your opponent, okay, and just do five close 5S and 6S before the Fujin coconut. If you use far standing S, then Fujin it will not connect in some situations except for counter hit. But normally connect now they give him an option to connect it. And there's still a lot. They made Shih Tzu faster, so they're saying in the patch that Shih Tzu can be used not only for Oki purposes. So they gave him a benefit of using Shih Tzu not as an Oki tool. So I'm not sure what do you mean by that. Maybe damage buff or maybe it's too early to tell. Maybe they made Shih Tzu faster. Let's say you can just let's say mid screen or maybe it's part of your part of after an move or let's say a Fujin follow up that doesn't really result to a hard knockdown, you can slide in Fujin or Shih Tzu right away. So you can use the butterfly right away. I'm not really sure what they mean by that, but for the Oki, because I mean there's no really other purpose to it. So the only way that I see it is it's more faster and you can just use it as a normal projectile. But anyway, like 100% of the people will always think that Shih Tzu was not really never. I mean, it was really never used as part of a non-Oki situation. But maybe they will add the. I'm not sure what's the benefit for using it as a non-Oki tool. So maybe increase in damage output or the properties are now faster. I mean, I'll just need to wait for that one. So that's your change for Anji. Ino is quite simple. The only change that she received or maybe changed that she got was the antidepressant note. It is now more faster something. Okay, that's it. And it will now take less travel time. No, not travel time. It will be faster. You know that the note has if travel the note the further that the note travels, it will accumulate the number of hits that it can do. So right now they increase or they sped up the accumulation. So maybe it's just it just needs a short distance for it to accumulate the max hits, something like that. So that's technically that's what we have for In. Okay, for for Leo, okay, they have changed the properties of his flash kick, and it's now more. I mean, the damage is now scaled, so you don't expect to have a huge damage output. But one thing that they changed for him, they made the fast. They made the what you call this stance switching faster. So there this Leo normals in the game, or he can switch to back stance right away. I mean, using normal moves without using his special moves. So normally you just need to use his special moves before. I mean, like the cross up move. So cross up move will uh, will will result to a back turn state right away. And I forgot the name of that explosion. Is it to yes, I forgot. And there's this other move like the smash, like the power geyser move, something like or power wave move. So will be back turned right away. But now they tried to increase the 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 startup or the it has something to do with the four. I haven't. So the charge time, I think the charge time is now lesser, so he can switch to back turn state right away during normal. So they gave him some fangs, or maybe they give him some options right now to okay, normally do normals, then you don't know it's already back turn state right away. So he can mix this pressure, slide in the back turn state right away, and do the overhead or the command throw, which are the most dangerous tools of Leo. And they need something about this 6HS. 6HS can be cancelable to 2S, I think, or 5S. Either of those two. So it adds maybe buffer, if not for buffer, damage opportunities, or maybe combo opportunities for Leo. So technically that's it for Leo. So for Goldlewis Dickinson, okay, this one is quite tricky. He has a difficulty on reaching out opponents. So there's these situations where he will spam or he will just use RC to drift and to drift the Behemoth Typhoon. Now they added what you call this distance. It's not more of the distance, but the drift distance. They increase it when you try to do some Behemoth Typhoon on some motions, not all of the motions. On some motions, they try to increase the drift or maybe the distance covered by those because it's already hard to do the Behemoth Typhoon. You need really to commit to the what you call this with 100% execution rate. You need to commit to the motion. So right now, I mean, before, especially on jumping Behemoth Typhoons, I mean, they have increased now the distance of a Behemoth Typhoon can cover. So it can catch more opponents. Well, we just need to give it up to Goldlewis because it doesn't really have that, some moves which will make his distance, I mean, close the gap. I know there's some good players like Gobu. It's like he already figured out the Pandora's box of Goldlewis Dickinson. Like he's so smooth when you see him play Goldlewis. It's like, oh my goodness, he's really a monster in using that character. Even though there's this, he's slow, he's quite large, can be hit. I mean, his hitbox is large, huge, but he was able to cover the distance. Now that the distance for this it travels more, it adds more drift to the what you call this to the Behemoth Typhoon. Now he can, it's like using Behemoth Typhoon and covering the distance, like you're hitting two birds in one stone. Like you already do the Behemoth Typhoon to cover you or to do some possible, combos, and you try to distance. You try to, not distance. You try to close the gap and try to close the distance with your opponent. You try to, drift forward. So this will be a useful tool for him. Then Jack O. Jack O, it's more of the button inputs for the servant because it's quite weird when you try to use the button input. There are some, especially on the servant commands. So depending on the servant commands, you want like maybe throw the servant up or throw the servant down, throw the servant forward. So usually it messes with your movement. So sometimes it's like you need to commit to the throw first before you can do some mix-ups. Now they try to make it easier. So you can use down forward or down forward or up forward, on some certain when you try to carry the servant. You can now really do this with certain pieces because the mix-up is not rewarding. It's like people stop in the air, like this is your character, and Jacko needs to stop like literally on top of you just to drop down the because you need to commit to that down, and you cannot like spam it with what you call this down left or down right during in the air. So that's why they gave Jacko this button inputs which will be made so she can play the servant game or servant okay game more easier. I think this is a good buff for Jacko, considering that you have already the pressure of managing your servants or your minions, and aside from that, you need to play Jacko also. So I think this is a good change for her. Then Giovanna, okay, Giovanna, what she does in this what you call this in this patch is more forward. I mean, not forward movement. She moves forward. I think the distance she because when you try to use 5k now you try to use her normals, she will move faster. So it's like Giovanna wants to close the gap right away with her rush downs. So before it's like you don't have that much of you need to like dash cancel. Yes, you need to dash cancel then make sure that she will drift, especially on far standing 5S. The far standing 5S, you want to make sure that these multiple kicks will hit the opponent. So right now, they give you the option to do it. I mean, the distance covered by these moves are now now increased. So you just need to press 5k and really she will really drive straight in front or in your opponent's face right away. So that's this thing that Giovanna has right now, and maybe this will give her closure to some moves or to some of her combo opportunities. Well, it's like I'm thinking theoretically that there's these combos that usually you need to dash cancel right now, especially counter hit sweep, you need to dash cancel, then 5k, then do your stuff. Maybe right now you don't need to do the dash cancel anymore. You just need to do the sweep, counter hit, then just press 5k, and she will have that dash effect right away from the start without committing to the dash. Because sometimes when you do the dash and your opponent has a faster move to counteract with the dash, so you're already toasted. I mean, Giovanna is already, her mix-up is already gone for that particular situation. So right now, giving him that opportunity to dash forward during, or maybe not dash forward, give him that forward forward movement during her normal moves will give her a boost on her lockdown or rushdown tactics, where it's like Giovanna is always rushing forward now, moving forward, forward, forward. That's Giovanna. And for Nagoriyuki, what happened to him was they, I mean, it was just changing his, what you call this? He's changing his DP. I mean, the DP, because the DP now it's like it's now two buttons. Like DP, you need to 623 HS, then HS. So you can hold now. So that I think the reason why they try to do this is because uh they want him to give him a proper DP move. So that's why they give him the first move as the DP. And in any other equation, if you want your opponent to be on the ground, or if you want to slam that second hit, then you're free. It at your own option. So Beyblade is kind of nerfed right now. I mean, it tried to increase the damage skill on Beyblade, but any other else aside from the damage, I think it's still a good tool. And they made his what you call this, his project is what you call this, flash step, not flash step. Uh Kagebunshi. I cannot call it Kagebunshi. 236S faster. So I think they just gave him an addition, not most of I cannot say if it is a good buff for him because I mean, be honest, Nagoriyuki is doing well already. It's like there's nothing to be changed with him in my own opinion, but seeing this change with him is like okay, they want still to give a more depth to him, especially on that DP situation. Now it's two hits. I mean, two. You need to. It has a follow up move, and it also acts now as a proper DP. So that's how they want to do it. And I guess that's it for the balance patch. So hope you like, share, and subscribe this video. So stay tuned for more Guilty Gear stuff. And maybe I'll try to discuss some Melty Blood Lumina, type Lumina stuff. So again, guys, I'll leave you with this one. Have a good one. Take easy, stay safe, and cheers.